What's going on, guys? Boss Squirrel here with another guide video, and today we're talking about Dark Army Zane. Now, the Dark Army is also really strong on the hands of Zane, not just flak. Well, I'm not gonna go into the full details of how the Dark Army works. If you want that, I've already discussed the Dark Army on my Dark Army flak build, how to get the max damage out of it. I've just placed it on the description down below if you guys want to check it out. So, just to summarize, all you need to do is get as much gun damage as possible before summoning the drones, and then once you've swapped to the Dark Army, now you can focus on other damage sources like V1, V2 damage, critical damage, elemental damage, or your fire rate or reload speed, those stuff. So, okay, by the way, please consider liking and subscribing and hit that notification bell for more videos to come. Alright, so let's get right into the build. Okay, so now for the gear, this is all I need. This is just for swapping. This is the Dark Army that I went is the Cryo element because I really like Cryo on Zane. It's really good. With the anointment, while SNTNL is active, gain 100% of damage as bonus Cryo damage. This is really good because this is 24/7 as long as your drone is active. And before swapping to the Dark Army, I use an MP5. Well, it's not really necessary, but if you want to go with it, if you don't know how the MP5 works, is if it's currently on your hand, you get increased movement speed. As we all know, movement speed plus Zane equals damage. So yeah, well, it's just optional, but any weapon will still work. But if you really want to get the most gun damage as possible, then I advise the MP5. Now for the shield, no brainer there. We're using the Revolter with action skill start anoint. For grenades, I still suggest the Itspiss for that debuff whenever you do bossing, which is really good. The anointment that I went with is action skill and gain 50% bonus cryo damage. As I've said, I really like cryo on Zane because actually this cryo Dark Army that I have is my main weapon in mobbing scenarios and also in bossing scenarios. That's it. Now, before summoning the drones, my pre-setup, the class mode that I use is the Infiltrator. As you can see, Zane's weapon damage and movement speed are increased the lower his shield, the greater the bonus. And whenever Zane activates an action skill, he breaks his shield. And try to focus on passives that gives as much gun damage as possible. Alright, so now for the artifact, pre-setup, I use the Snowdrift. The Victory Rush is just optional. That doesn't really matter. The main goal here is the Snowdrift because of that slide speed. And the passives doesn't really matter. Well, if you have a passive that gives more movement speed, then that is better. And now, after summoning the Dark Army, the class mod that I use is Seeing Dead, so that we can have our drone active 24/7. As you can see, whenever Zane damages an enemy with his weapon, he has a chance to automatically activate all of his skills, which is really good, so that we can always activate Good Misfortune, so that the drone won't be on cooldown. And the artifact that I use is the Teeter Company Man. So as you can see, this doesn't really matter, Teeter damage, because as I've said, gun damage no longer matters if the drones are already active. They no longer increase the drone's damage. I just went with this because I have the reload speed and the critical damage and also shock damage from the Revolter and the cryo damage from the cryo element of the Dark Army. Alright, now for the skill tree, here it is. You can just copy it. You just need 1 point on salvation, and as I've said, Zane plus speed equals damage because of violent momentum. As you can see, Zane's gun damage is increased while moving. The quicker he moves, the greater the gun damage bonus. I'm not sure, but I've heard of it. But the max gun damage that you can get while using the Snowdrift, plus all movement speed bonuses is, I think it could get up to 1000%, but I'm not really sure if that's true. Anyways, here it is. I use the drone. These are the augments that I use. You can transfer this augment to here if you want to, but I just prefer this so that for more cryo. Now here's for my red tree. You can just copy it, get as much gun damage as possible. Also this Supersonic Man for more movement speed. You don't want to add points here. As I've said on my previous Dark Army Flak video, you always want to keep reloading and emptying the magazine for that bonus elemental damage from the drones. So you don't want to add points here. Nothing here on the green tree. And here is for my purple tree. Alright, just went down until Arman Flint. Arman Flint is really good while aiming down sights. Not only is your weapon dealing more damage, also the drones. I'll just show you what I'm talking about. Let's just check the base damage of the drones. There it is. Okay, they're dealing 138. Now let's try and aim down sights. 162. See? It goes back to 138, but when we aim down sights, it goes up to 162. So there you go. That's the reason why. Okay. So going back to the build, Arman Flint, you'll definitely want this. The augments that I use for the Mantis Shoulder Cannon is No Way Out for that good debuff. As you can see, whenever Zane damages an enemy with his cannon, they gain increased 25% damage, good for 6 seconds. This also affects the drones, which is really good. Also for proliferation, for more charges. I didn't went with domino effect because this reload speed and fire rate is honestly overkill. Even without this, Zane's reload speed and fire rate is incredibly insane. Plus the shock and rage from the revolter, so you know you don't need it. The 5 points, I just went with Art of War. This is the skill that gives you the most gun damage. As you can see, whenever Zane activates his action skill, his gun damage is increased by 15%, and that is a max. The max stacks is 10 stacks, so that is 150%. So that's a lot of gun damage. Alright, so basically that's my setup. And here's the garden rank, and we're running it on Mayhem 11. So I'll show you the setup, what I do. First, I use the Infiltrator, the Snowdrift, Victory Rush, use the MP5, and what I do is I activate my cannon for 10 times for Art of War, so that I can proc Art of War here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This may take a few seconds. 7, 8. 2 more. 9. And 10. Okay, now after that, after I've got the max stacks from Art of War, I switch my shoulder cannon to the clone. Maybe I'll just use double banger here. This one, I use this clone. The reason for that is this skill, Synchronicity. Whenever one or more of Zane's action skills are active, he gains increased gun damage. So that's 20% per action skill active. And also this, Supersonic Man. Whenever one or more of Zane's action skills are active, he gains increased movement speed. So that's 12% per active action skill. So that's a total of 24%, which is really good. So what I do is activate the clone, activate the drone, and then I run and slide. Then while sliding, I swap to the Dark Army, and I'm good to go. And after that, I switch to the Seeing Dead. You really want to do it fast because if your shield starts recharging, you will lose that bonus weapon damage and movement speed from the Infiltrator. Okay, so go swap with the Seeing Dead and this Tidier Company Man. And then I just disable my clone and go back to the cannon. And that's it. That's how I set it up. Alright, so yeah, just get as much gun damage as possible, as I've said. And for Zane's case, more movement speed equals damage. So yeah, you guys, if you find this guide helpful, please consider liking and subscribing, and hit that notification bell it'll really help me out. And you guys have a good day. Bye bye.